David, not sure where to start today, but given the fact that we had another non-confidence motion in the House of Commons that was defeated, and given the fact that that $250 check, which was talked about, is still not heading out the door yet, I'm wondering what you think.
Well, I think it's a pock on all the houses of these federal parties. I mean, last week I thought, the two biggest news items were the reports that in 2025 the grocery bills are going to keep going up, regardless of news that inflation is somehow coming down and cost of living indicators are becoming more livable, say that they were maybe a year or two or three ago. And the other piece of news was on Friday was the unemployment rate going up in Quebec and in Canada. And right now, all the federal parties are seemingly completely oblivious to these realities. And Justin Trudeau has tried a bit to address this with the GST holiday and the $250 check. But at some point, I don't see the Conservative Party strategy, the Poilievre strategy, being viable for much longer. And so right now, I mean, yet again, the NDP is not going to put this country into an election. It's not in its interest. Jagmeet Singh knows that if there is a federal election now, a month from now, 2 months from now, there's nothing in there that's any good for the NDP. So they're going to stick with the Liberals no matter what. So that allows Justin Trudeau to at least plan until the budget in April or March even. And who knows, Chrystia Freeland with her economic update on December 16th, maybe announcing, maybe we'll talk, next Monday about maybe some different type of support for average Canadians. But who knows? But a lot of people in this country are struggling. Issue 1, 2, and 3 is the economy. And we're not seeing the parties reacting to this in any constructive way. And I'm just wondering at what point it's going to start hurting the Conservatives. They seem to be immune in the polls, and I get the Trudeau fatigue, and I get everything else that's going on. But at some point, Pierre Poilievre is going to have to say something, because if he continues on this type of slant, trying to paralyze the government until he gets an election, what happens if this government survives till September of 2025? This will actually, I think, hurt the Conservatives. And at some point, they're going to have to show something to Canadians, saying, okay, what will you do to help us get through these difficult economic times?
So the other story today, I guess, out of Ottawa is this decision or the announcement by Chrystia Freeland that they'll finally drop their economic forecast on the last day before they get up and rise, I guess, for the holiday.
On Monday.
Yeah, so a ploy there as well?
Well, yeah, definitely a ploy, because what it allows is, communications-wise, it allows Chrystia Freeland and the Liberals to have the last word. And it gives some sort of advantage going into the holidays, because when you're going into the holidays, Aaron, you know this, you want to try to control the turkey conversation as much as possible. Yeah. And so again, things aren't good for the Trudeau Liberals by any stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, if you want to start changing the conversation, as Justin Trudeau has tried during this fall session, albeit just a little bit, you want to have the last word. So by pushing this till the 16th with Chrystia Freeland, maybe there's going to be some good news. Maybe there's going to be some measures that don't need the Commons voting on anything, and at least there's going to be something there that you're going into the break with some sort of message to spin that isn't watered down by the paralysis in the Commons.
All right, so let me move on from that and talk about what's happening provincially here. First of all, Pablo Rodriguez is going to be here in about 15 minutes. I want to talk to him about two more people coming forward today to lend their support. Is he a shoo-in in your opinion or not?
Well, he's not a shoo-in. I mean, this campaign is extremely long. Look, Aaron, it hasn't even officially begun.
Yeah.
The actual leadership campaign officially begins in January. ends, of course, with the leadership vote, which is going to be on June 14th, 2025. So we're still a ways away. And when we talk about leadership campaigns, it's all about organization and selling membership cards. And with the convoluted rules of all these leadership campaigns, it's per riding, and on top of that, with the Quebec Liberals, the youth members have a special status and have a third of the vote, and it's a very complex system to elect a leader. And so it's not about spin, it's not about image. Remember, during the Conservative Party of Canada's race, when there was Jean Charest, and he was there in the media, and you were interviewing him, and everybody was talking about Jean Charest. But at the end of the day, Pierre Poilievre clobbered him. And why? Because it was all about organization. Even in Quebec, where, remember, Poilievre won 72 of the 78 ridings. And so Pablo Rodriguez has good organization, but on the other side, got to say, Charles Milliard is also racking up some support in the caucus, which is important, but also a lot of former Charest and Couillard organizers. And that tells me that on the other side, there's kind of this, there's the Rodriguez camp, which, of course means federally, we're talking about the Liberals federally as well. But on the other side of the Quebec Liberal Party, there are a lot of federal conservatives, right? It's what I would call, the Jean Charest wing of the party. And so there's a lot of people that are getting behind Charles Milliard as being the candidate that can threaten the most Pablo Rodriguez. He's definitely the front runner. He has organizational skills. He definitely has a lot of support. But it's going to be about selling those membership cards and getting those people to vote on June 14th.
Okay, let's leave it at that, and then I would just come back and ask you one last thing. We talked a lot today about François Legault's announcement Friday during his last press conference. Forget about schools now that are being investigated for not complying with Bill 21. Now it's about prayer in public parks, and I'm curious for your take on that.
Well, he's going to his old playbook, right? I mean, you saw last week's big poll saying that a majority of Quebecers of all the generations, wherever they are across Quebec, they don't want François Legault back in 2026. It's a majority of Quebecers, Francos, Anglos, no matter how you slice it. François Legault is even less popular in Quebec than Justin Trudeau, and that's
That's saying something, yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. And so François Legault's reaction to this is also, and just like federally, issues 1, 2, and 3 in Quebec are cost of living, and that's across all the polls, right? And again, the grocery bill is going to go up in 25. Housing is still a mess. The Quebec's economy is at a standstill. Unemployment is on the rise. Productivity is at record lows. I could go on and on and on and on. But the fact is that now it's about his personal ego, François Legault's, and he's trying to instrumentalize a valid issue, which is what's going on in several public schools in Quebec, which is unacceptable, completely unacceptable. But the laws exist. It's actually implementing and managing these schools and having, the personnel and backing up the people that are there to implement these laws and regulations to make sure these excesses, these unacceptable excesses in our public schools do not happen. So how do we get from the Bedford school issue, which is, of course, going on in a lot of other schools, which is very, very preoccupying and very, very serious and very concerning, that we have to attack right away. How do we get to that, to public prayer? Has there been somehow an epidemic of public prayer? Yeah. Have we been overwhelmed by public praying? Have you had trouble getting to the station, Aaron, because of public prayer at the corner of Papineau and René Lévesque? This is what, because he did say the word. He did talk about Islamists. That's what he's trying to raise a nemesis. Because that's the only playbook he knows. It's the politics of division, of fear, of blame, of grievance, of hate. And he's trying to regenerate that in the hope that, one, we're not going to talk about the economic mess, the healthcare mess, the education mess, and we're going to talk about this now. And again, his obsession is not only trying to raise his poll numbers, but he's trying to take a page out of the right-wing politicians in the U.S. and in France. He loves to compare himself to France, and it's worked in France to a certain extent with the right-wing parties over there. And so he's trying to do that. And it's deflection, but it's very dangerous because wherever you stand on this raises a lot of significant issues and questions about freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion. But again, with everything that's going on and all the priorities, I mean, you take any poll in the last 3 years or 5 years, I dare you to find in the top 25 issues that preoccupies the most Quebecers, public prayer. This is just again a person that is so disconnected and so overwhelmed by the current issues and his inability to put forth coherent policies that can help ordinary Quebecers, that he's turning to this. And this, again, is a very slippery slope, very dangerous, and definitely not the kind of message we want to send. On top of him tweeting over the weekend how fantastic Catholicism was.
Yeah, wild at Notre Dame. Yeah.
You know, and how Catholicism was amazing, but at the same time talking about targeting another religion like this, it didn't yield anything positive with 21. There's nothing good that's going to come out of this one either.
That's where we leave it, David. I thank you. I appreciate it. You have a good one.
Have a great week.
David Heurtel had joined us, by the way, in the middle of the week as well. I think he's back on Wednesday.